In my 31 years of defending DUIs here in Central Florida, there is a big fat range of penalties. And I know that now that some of you have been arrested for DUI, that is on your mind. What is going to happen to me, John? Well, I can tell you what's going to happen to you, and it depends. All right. And I know every attorney says those two words and you're sick of hearing that. But look, folks, even though I have a doctorate and a master's degree, I'm still not your doctor and you're not my patient. We haven't even been on a first date yet and you want to start naming the kids. We can't name the kids just yet, but I can tell you in general some things that might happen to you. And let's start with you first offenders, because you first offenders, and this will be your only DUI, right? Not just your first DUI, but your only DUI, like your first marriage, right? I can tell you that you're going to probably need to take the DUI school and you're going to need to take any sort of counseling that they recommend. Depending on the facts of your DUI, depending on how you answer the questions at the evaluation, you may have to do 6 months of counseling or you may have to do 0 amounts of counseling. I can't quite predict why some people get a boatload of counseling and why some people don't, but it has a lot to do with how you answer their questions, which I should do a separate video on. But the punishment on a first-time DUI varies greatly depending on what happened in your DUI. The best case scenario for some of you out there is that you blew into the machine under a .08, so your license isn't even suspended, and you did fairly well on the field sobriety exercises. And after I watch your videos and review all the evidence, I'm thinking to myself, why were you even arrested for this? And you were thinking the same thing. Therefore, you probably won't end up with a DUI on your record. You might end up with something else depending on your driving pattern. If you had a reckless driving pattern which caught the eye of law enforcement, you're gonna have some issues there. If you had an expired tag, then your DUI might end up getting dropped. I mean, look, if you had an expired tag, what does that tell me? That tells me you didn't even drive bad. You drove well and you blew under the legal limit. You shouldn't even be charged with DUI if you drove well and you blew under the legal limit. Some of you blew twice the legal limit. The legal limit is .08 here in Florida, and .16 is twice the legal limit. Some of you blew 3 times the legal limit, .24 or greater, and some of you got into an accident and you might have ran over a fire hydrant or like a sign. I'm seeing a lot of hitting of signs and fire hydrants these days, and that's okay. Much better than hitting another car, right? If you hit another car, your first time DUI is astronomically more serious than the first person I talked about that didn't even drive poorly, got pulled over because maybe a taillight wasn't working, and all of a sudden the cop goes crazy and thinks they're drunk. And they're not, but they get arrested anyway. Accident cases are serious, and if somebody gets injured, you are removed from the misdemeanor DUI court and you are upgraded to the felony DUI version. We don't even want to get into that. I could do a whole video series on felony DUIs. But every little bit of your DUI counts, right? A big thing that is going to count against you in Orange County and in Osceola County is your driving pattern. What I mean by that is you're going to tell me, John, I didn't get into an accident. John, I didn't hit anybody. John, I wasn't speeding. Great. Love it. I love it. Keep it coming. But then I hear that you were driving down the wrong side of the highway. You got on the highway wrong, and literally cars are, parting the Red Sea because you are going down the wrong way. Even though there was no accident, folks, that is the sort of thing that they are going to go ballistic. They don't like that because they've seen too many people get injured in those circumstances. So even though you're like, oh, I made a mistake on the ramp, I thought the ramp was weird, and we got some weird ramps in Florida, I totally get that, but it might not end well in terms of how your DUI resolves. In general, a year of probation for you misdemeanor people. In general, the DUI class for you misdemeanor people. In general, 50 hours community service. In general, the victim awareness panel or the victim impact class. They show you a lot of videos of some people that really got hurt or killed in a DUI, and it's just not a fun thing to watch, but they make you sit through that, okay? Also, there's an ignition interlock device for some of you. That is a fancy way of saying you are gonna have a breathalyzer in your car. Yes, and you can't cheat this thing because they literally have like a video camera where every time you start the car up, the video starts, and all of this gets sent via data to some center to make sure that it's you that's blowing in. You can't have your 12-year-old kid that hasn't been drinking blow to start your car. People have done it. It doesn't work, okay? You could get an ignition interlock device. You can end up with your license being suspended on a DUI for 6 months, for a year. You can end up with at least a $500 fine. You can get a $2,000 fine. Kind of depends on where you are. Did you blow into the machine? How much did you blow? All of this factors into, John, what is going to happen to me? In general, you first offenders that have nothing outrageous, nobody got hurt, no accident, you're not looking at any jail time with no prior record and things of that sort. You folks that have injured another person, that is a different story, but I still think we can avoid jail. There's lots of moving parts on these things, believe me, folks. So if you get in any sort of DUI trouble here in Central Florida, I've been doing this for 31 years. I hope that you'll give our office a call. We are gonna help you out with this. But if not, and you're just watching for knowledge, and I do that a lot of times too, guess what? There's buttons on this screen. I don't know how these big social media companies changed, but whatever buttons are positive to press for us, little hearts, little checks, little thumbs up, little subscribes, little ringing bells, those things help us, and I would appreciate that. Have a great day.